The URC playoffs are set, and what a final round of the URC it was. A really good way to end off the regular season. Some upsets. Honestly, I did do a predictions video. Some of them I got completely wrong. Some of them I got right, but that just shows how competitive this tournament is right now. I mean, going into the playoffs, there's a lot of games where it's a 50-50 to see who wins. Yes, there might be home ground advantage, but when it gets to those semi-final games, it's honestly going to be a 50-50. But let's get right into it. We started the weekend with Cardiff versus the Stormers. Cardiff beating the Stormers 22 points to 16. I was not expecting this one. So if you are a Welsh fan, you can honestly lay into me in the comments. I was saying how I think Cardiff is going to fall out of the playoff contention. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be able to beat the Stormers. But they did. And that just shows the kind of grit this Cardiff team has. They're a proper Welsh-style side. They are the best Welsh team this year, so they are playing much better rugby than the other Welsh sides. And they have a chance to make the semi-finals. Now, I will go into depth of who they are playing in the next few games after this, and I will go through the table as well, so stick around for that. But Cardiff with a really big win against the Stormers, a massive win. And to be honest, the Stormers right now need to pick up their game. The amount of times I've said this year that this needs to be a wake-up call for them, they still haven't had that wake-up call yet. They still haven't woken up and played better rugby. It's like they started the season undefeated for their first 8 games, and now they are, 1 point ahead of the Bulls when the Bulls were 20 points behind them at the mid-stage of the season. So the Stormers right now need to pick up their act. I think they've got a home quarter-final, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens at that game. Will they be able to win that game? I don't know, because right now they are struggling. They drew to Ulster, they lost to Cardiff. The Stormers need a wake-up call, and they need it big time. Moving on to the next game, we had Ulster versus Glasgow. Now, obviously, Ulster was playing for a spot in the top 8. They were desperate to get a win. A decent game for Ulster, but unfortunately they came up short against a very good Glasgow Warriors team. Now Glasgow getting the win, 26 points to 22 in Ulster. A very big win for this Glasgow team away from home at Ulster, which is a very difficult place to go and win rugby games, especially as an away team. So Glasgow with a very big win there, showing why they deserve to be the number 1 on the table, which they did end up getting. It's going to be a big quarterfinal and a big semi-final for them coming up, but we're going to get into that soon. So Ulster, unfortunately, have fallen out of the top 8. All the Ulster fans, I feel so sorry for you. There was a stage where Ulster was looking like they could end number 1 on the table, number 2 on the table, having a home semi-final theoretically. Now they're out of the playoffs. In the last few weeks, things have just completely swung on its head for Ulster. A lot of injuries though. They are losing a few players. I think Vadner is leaving Ulster. Maybe he might return to South Africa. I think he should go to France and get a big paycheck because he deserves it. He's a phenomenal player. But it's unfortunate to see a guy like him leaving Ulster that's honestly added so much within such a short period of time. So very unfortunate for Ulster. Very disappointing way to end the season, but a very positive win for Glasgow Warriors away from home. Moving on to the final game on Friday night, we had Edinburgh versus Connacht. Now, I was not too sure about this one. I did predict that Connacht would win, but I honestly thought Edinburgh was going to put up a really big fight at home to end their season off on a high, because it's been quite a disappointing season for Edinburgh, and Connacht right now are really picking up their game, looking like probably the top 1 or 2 informed teams in this competition right now, which is very worrying for whoever they play against in the next games. So Edinburgh lost this game 5 points to 26, Connacht getting the win away from home. I thought this was going to be a tough game for Connacht, but this Connacht team just shows time and time again that they are getting better every single week, every single game, and they are showing why they honestly are one of the top teams right now in this competition. Irrespective of where they are on the table, they 100% can win this competition, and they're showing it every single week. But moving on to the Saturday games, we started off with the Sharks versus Zebre. The Sharks are playing some phenomenal rugby recently with some of the younger players, but it's too late. They already were not able to make the playoffs, but it was really good to see JP Peterson give some of the younger guys a chance. I mean, in the backline, we had Bradley Davids, Vusi Moyo, who looked really smooth. He looked really good on the field. He might be ready for that level of rugby, and I think next year we might be seeing a lot more of Vusi Moyo in the number 10 jersey, because I think the Sharks honestly right now are struggling with the number 10 jersey in the fact that they don't have an out-and-out 10. Because Jordan Hendrickse can play fullback, he can play 10. I think the perfect position for Jordan Hendrickse is probably in the number 23 jersey as a utility back. But Vusi Moyo showed his absolute quality, why he is part of that under 20 winning team from last year, and why he might be part of a winning team again this year. I mean, he was so good, a really good way to make your debut, and he just looked so comfortable at that level. Now we had Latile Beste as well. I hope I said that right. I know I miss Lily Beste Leicester, a very good player, looking really good in that kind of adult level rugby, the senior level rugby, the number 11 for the Sharks. He did play outside centre at high school, but he looked really comfortable. He was physically dominant as well, and I'd like to see a lot more of him going forward. Same can be said for Lorenzo Julius. Obviously, he's been looking really good in the last few weeks, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they manage Lorenzo Julius and Ethan Hooker going forward. Two young superstars in the making, both playing the same position. They might have to change a few guys' positions there. They might have to move Andre Estes into the loose forwards next year because they are losing a few loose forwards as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do next year with this young squad. Also, Yaku Williams, a phenomenal youngster. He played under 20s last year. He just has such rapid pace. He is such a good player to watch. And of course, Zeketelo Siaya at fullback, a phenomenal try. I think that was his first try for the Sharks. Getting the sidestep, skinning the guy on the outside. I mean, he is ready for this level. And it shows he's already been called up to the Springbok alignment camp as well. So the Sharks youngsters are looking absolutely incredible. And if you can't tell by now, I am a Sharks fan, so I'm really excited about the future of this team. But I will be doing a bit of an in-depth review of each of the teams that didn't make the playoffs. And then obviously after each team does get kicked out of the tournament, I'll be doing a review for those teams as well for the URC. So stay tuned for that one. But the Sharks definitely have a bright future, but hang around for that video coming very soon in the coming weeks. Now Zebre had a bit of a disappointing performance. It looked like at a stage they were trying to fight back, but with all these teams that lose by far, there's always a period of the game where the team that's winning by far kind of steps their foot off the gas pedal a bit and gives the other team, doesn't give them a chance, but allows the other team that is playing with such desperation to kind of make their way back. But it wasn't meant to be for them. A disappointing season for them, but also not the most disappointing season because they've actually come a long way as well. Same can be said for the Dragons, Zebre, some other teams as well in this competition that, yes, they lost a lot of games, but the way they lost games was actually really positive to see for these teams. And I think going forward in the next few years, the whole table is going to be close until the final rounds of the games, which is going to be absolutely incredible. And once again, the URC just showed why it is currently one of the best club competitions in the world, because it went down to the final week, to the final games to see who's going to make the playoffs and who isn't, where in other competitions it just doesn't work that way. So really good to see. But moving on to the next game, we had the Bulls versus Benetton. I mean, the Bulls right now are looking like the informed South African team. If there's one South African team that I think has the best chance of winning this competition, it's the Bulls. I mean, they've got some quality players, they've got some quality Springboks, they've got some really high quality non-Springbok players as well. I mean, the depth in their forwards with Jean-Andre Rudolph and Pilo Gomede as well. Some guys that aren't even in the Springbok squads that are dominating as if they are Springbok players. So the Bulls team is looking really good right now. A few guys injured, a few guys will be coming back as well. So very excited to see how they do in the playoffs. They obviously beat a Benetton team that just isn't firing on all cylinders right now. You'd think this Benetton team with the players they have would have ended off the season a bit better, but they got smashed by the Sharks last week and they got humbled again by the Bulls this week. So Benetton has a lot to work on in the off-season. They are adding some good players to their squad, so it's going to be very interesting to see what does happen. But my standout player for Benetton was Reno Smith. I think he's 1 year away or a few months away from Italian eligibility, but I think he has to get a special exemption from the whole board of rugby, the World of Rugby board. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Reno Smith does end up playing for Italy, because he could be a big inclusion in that squad. Moving on to the next game, we had Leinster versus the Ospreys. Not the way the Ospreys wanted to end the season. With 3 games to go or 4 games to go, they still had a chance of making the top 8, and they had to end off the season getting smashed 68 points to 14 by Leinster. But I've said it many times before in the last few weeks, Leinster right now is trending up at the right time. They are looking just like the team to beat. They are looking like the team to beat in both competitions, and they have a very good chance of winning the Champions Cup and the URC. So Leinster right now is the most dangerous team in this competition, and they are looking really strong, really good, with some incredible players building those combinations and getting better every single week as well. So that's a very scary sight to see for all the teams in both the competitions. Moving on to the second to last game of the week, we had a 35-all draw between the Scarlets and the Dragons. I mean, probably the best way to end the season for both these teams without them getting a loss. It's been a disappointing year for both of them. I'd say the Dragons probably had a more successful year if you just look at the kind of results they put out, the close losses, where Scarlets, I was expecting a lot more from the Scarlets this year. Honestly, I was expecting a lot more, so a very disappointing season from them. They're going to have to bounce back next year, and I think they will. Honestly, I do see that the Welsh teams are getting better every single week, every single season. and even the Welsh side in general. I just did a video on that, so if you are a Welsh fan, go check out the Wales Nations Championship squad reaction. Wales is getting a lot better, the players are getting more experience, and I think this young crop of players is just getting better every single week, so it's very good to see. But a 35-all draw for both these teams, not the best way, not the worst way to end the season as well for both of them. But moving on to the final game of the week, this was a phenomenal game of rugby. Munster versus the Lions. There was a lot to play for. Munster going into the game were out of the playoff spots. They were playing for a spot in the playoffs. The Lions were playing for a bit of a better draw in the playoffs as well. They already had made the playoffs. Their first time in the URC history that the Lions makes the playoffs. Munster won this game 24 points to 17, but I'll tell you, it felt like a playoff game. It felt like the game was in the balance the entire time, and that's the kind of rugby I love to watch. It just was one of those games that was ultra competitive from start to finish, and Munster really kind of put in a very good performance, but they played with a lot of heart, a lot of pride, a lot of passion, and you could hear it with the crowd. They were so into the game. They were so passionate about that game as well. So that was definitely like a playoff game. Probably was the first playoff game of the weekend, as well as the Cardiff vs Stormers one. If you take into account for Munster and for Cardiff, it was a must-win game. So it was really good to see. But what a weekend of rugby. The table ends with Zebre at number 16, Dragons number 15, Scarlets 14, Benetton 13, Edinburgh 12, Ospreys 11, Sharks 10th, Ulster 9th, top 8. Connacht make it into the top 8, Lions number 7, Cardiff 6, Munster 5, Bulls number 4, Stormers number 3, Leinster number 2, and Glasgow number 1. A really competitive season this year. I mean, the top 11 are all split by the top 10 are all split by not that many points at all. So it could have swung anywhere at the end of the season, and the playoff games are set. It's going to be a phenomenal round of playoff games. The quarterfinals are set. On the Friday, it's going to be Glasgow versus Connacht. Then on Saturday, we have the Bulls versus Munster in Pretoria, Stormers versus Cardiff in Cape Town, and Leinster versus the Lions in Ireland. So some really big quarterfinal games coming up. I will be doing a preview and a predictions for those, and I will be doing individual match previews for those ones coming out as well in the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be very exciting. I cannot wait for that. But if you guys do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.